side. Murphy shooting, save a rebound on the view.
Hey guys, it is Red Rubber Duckwind, and welcome to day 8 of the 2023 March Madness Charity Drive for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Please feel free to go to the link in the description and donate. And I'm fully aware that I am recording this video completely late, but I gotta go through the list of games in order, so yeah, I got a rough night ahead of me. So let's not waste any more time. Let's dive on in. First up, let's recap the Big South quarterfinals. You got the top-seeded UNC Asheville beating Charleston Southern 75-66. Drew Pember had a double-double for the Bulldogs, scoring 29 points and getting 16 rebounds. Tajon Jones finished with 19. And after the 17-17 tie, it was all Bulldogs from here on out. Almost all of the Bulldogs' points came from the free throw line. Foul trouble was a major concern for Charleston Southern, as 4 Buccaneers picked up 4 fouls or more. The Bulldogs will face USC Upstate, who shocked Gardner-Webb 77-76. Jordan Gainey was the top Spartan for scoring with 25 points. Kareem Reed led the running Bulldogs in a losing effort with 19 points. Gardner-Webb was in front for nearly the entire second half, and with Gardner-Webb up 5 with 16 seconds left, Jordan Gainey hit a 3 to bring the Spartans within 2 with 9 seconds left. Then off the inbounds play, Gardner-Webb turned it over, and Gainey hit another 3 that went in with 0.1 seconds left. And that sent the Spartans on a date with UNC Asheville. And we got a major upset in the Big South tournament. The Campbell Fighting Camels, the 7th seed, beat the defending Big South champions Longwood by a score of 81-68. Jay Powell scored 23 points and collected 11 rebounds in a double-double. Anthony Del Orso had a 20-point night as well for the Fighting Camels. Despite Isaiah Wilkins getting 23 points for the Lancers, they couldn't overcome a furious Campbell run starting halfway through the second half. They shot 53 points. They shot 53%, and the defending Big South champions are no more, and Campbell will be facing Radford, who defeated Winthrop 78-69. Josiah Jeffers and Shaquan Jules led the Highlanders with 21 and 20 points respectively, and Daquan Smith joined the show with 16 points of his own. Only 2 Eagles from Winthrop finished in double figures. Ever since the game was tied at 4-4, the Highlanders held the lead and never relinquished it. Radford will face the Fighting Camels in the semifinals. And the Missouri Valley, the Bradley Braves took care of Northern Iowa 72-66. Bowen Bourne was the only Panther to hit double figures with 34 points. Meanwhile, 3 Braves reached double figures, with Rick Mask getting 30 points, and not one double-digit lead occurred this whole game. The lead began to shift back and forth in the second half, but the Braves held on, and they will take on Indiana State, who beat Belmont 94-91. Cooper Neese led the Sycamores with 33 points, followed by Cameron Henry with 25. Indiana State held the lead for the majority of the game, but the Bruins took the lead with Ben Shepard hit a 3 to go in front 89-88 with 2:04 to go, but Neese hit a 3 of his own to put the Sycamores up for good, and they will take on Bradley in another heater in the Missouri Valley tournament. We got Drake up next as they beat Murray State 74-62. Tucker DeVries led the Bulldogs with 27 points, and Rob Perry's 22 points led the Racers in a losing effort. DeVries hit 3 free throws to give Drake a 2-point lead going into halftime, and it was all Bulldogs as they began to heat up in the second half. Drake will take on the Salukis of Southern Illinois as they beat Missouri State 54-51. Marcus Domask led Salukis with 17 points, and the Bears' high scorer was Donovan Clay with 18. Missouri State led by as much as 13 points. However, the Salukis were able to use long scoring runs to get the lead. The Bears rallied, but it was too little, too late, and the Salukis will go up against the Drake Bulldogs. We now go to the Colonial Athletic Association, and they only had one tournament game today as they reached a 13-team conference, and they do a similar style to the Big Ten and other conferences. But since there's only 13 teams, there's only one first-round game. And that saw Monmouth defeating Hampton in our first triple whopper of the 2023 conference tournament play, 100-64. 5 Hawks ended in double figures, led by Jack Collins with 32 points. The only lead that the Pirates had was 3-2, and that was it. After that, the Pirates slowed down while the Hawks heated up, shooting 56.7% from the field, including 58.8% from beyond the arc. Monmouth will take on Drexel. And in the Southern Conference, you got Mercer defeating the Citadel 66-41. And if you like team ball, this was the game for you. The Bears' leading scorer was Jalen McCreary with 11 points. Over half of the Bulldogs didn't score a single point. And the Bulldogs started with 3 points in 10 minutes, scoring only 10 points in the first half. All Mercer had to do was stay consistent, and they did just that. And the Bears will take on the top-seeded Furman. And then after that, you got Chattanooga defeating Virginia Military Institute 92-72. Jake Stevens and Christian Corso led the Mocs with 21 points, with the latter on the bench. Chattanooga led the whole entire game and was never challenged. They shot 61.7% from the field, and the Mocs will look to carry the momentum as they face Sanford. In the Summit League, you got North Dakota defeating Denver 83-68. Matt Norman led the Fighting Hawks with 25 points, and Lucas Kasunas led all Pioneers with 27. However, Denver got 0 points from their bench. The game was back and forth up until 4 minutes into the second half when North Dakota gained the lead and they never looked back. The Fighting Hawks will go up against top-seeded Oral Roberts. And then you got Omaha defeating Kansas City 73-61. Frankie Fiddler led all the Mavericks with 21 points, and for the Roos, Tyler Andrews finished with 20. Up until the halfway point of the first half, the game was back and forth until Omaha took a 13-10 lead. Since then, no Roo could challenge them. The Mavericks will take on the defending champions, South Dakota State. And now you got the Ohio Valley. And we have our first number 1 seed to go down. And it's Southeast Missouri State defeating Morehead State 65-58. The Red Hawks dynamic duo struck again as Chris Harris and Philip Russell finished with 15 and 14 points respectively. Despite the Eagles' Mark Freeman scoring 21, Morehead State was not able to hold on to the lead that they had for most of the game. A 12-0 run near the end of the second half led SEMO to its first Ohio Valley Conference title game since 2000. And they will go up against Tennessee Tech, who defeated Tennessee Martin 78-63. Jalen Sabree led the Golden Eagles with 28 points, and KK Curry scored 21 in a losing effort for the Skyhawks. The game ended the first half even at 26, but Tennessee Tech led for most of the game and was able to pull away in the final minutes. Free throws also aided the Golden Eagles and hurt the Skyhawks badly. And Tennessee Tech will move on to the Ohio Valley Conference Championship. No matter what happens here, one team is going to their first tournament in over 20 years. SEMO looks to get in for the first time since 2000, and the Golden Eagles haven't been into the tournament since 1963. One of those two is going to break a lengthy drought. We now go to the West Coast Conference with BYU defeating Portland 82-71. 4 Cougars ended in double figures, led by Richie Saunders off the bench with 18 points. Despite Tyler Robinson scoring 31, the Pilots couldn't fend off a furious Cougar rally. Portland was up by 14 at one point and led by 13 at the half. 52 second half points for BYU sent them into the quarterfinals against Loyola Marymount. And then you got San Francisco defeating Pacific 80-63. Tyrell Roberts led all Dons with 25 points, and Marcus Williams scored 18 off the bench. The game was back and forth throughout the first half until the final minute when San Fran took the lead for good. The Dons went on an 11-0 run in the early parts of the second half to propel them to the quarterfinals against Santa Clara. We now can preview two new conference tournament brackets. Let's start off with the Mid-American, which is my neck of the woods. I go to a MAC school. I've definitely seen a lot of MAC basketball. The top seed is once again Toledo. This is their third straight year as the number one seed in the MAC, and they will go up against Miami. Now, Toledo is looking for their first tournament appearance since 1980, and they are on a 15-game winning streak. And players you got to watch out for are JT Shoemate and Ray J. Dennis. Miami, all I can say is good luck, because Toledo they looked unstoppable this year. And that game will tip off on Thursday, March 9th at 11 o'clock in the morning. 30 minutes after that, you got Ball State going up against Ohio. Ball State's looking for their first appearance since 2000. And Ohio looking to go back in for the second time in 3 years. Two players you got to watch out for. On Ball State, you got Peyton Sparks. And on Ohio, you got Dwight Wilson. This is going to be an amazing battle, and I cannot wait to watch it. And on number 2, you got Kent State going up against Northern Illinois. 30 minutes after Ball State, Ohio. Kent State looking to get back in for the first time since 2017. And Northern Illinois looking for their first tournament appearance since 1996. 3 players you got to watch out for Kent State. Sincere Carey, Chris Payton, and Myron Thomas. They had a really good game against Akron, which went to overtime up in Kent. So, yeah, Huskies, you might be in trouble here. And then 30 minutes after that, speaking of Akron, there they are, the defending MAC champions. They will go up against Buffalo, looking for their first appearance since 2019. Xavier Castaneda, Enrique Freeman, and Sammy Hunter have been heating up as of late. Even though Castaneda did go cold up against Kent, Enrique Freeman bounced back. Sammy Hunter has been doing well these last 2 games, and Xavier Castaneda bounced back in the second half of Akron, Kent State. And the Bulls, they're on a 4-game winning streak, including a huge win at Toledo, which saw another triple whopper. So Buffalo is going to be a dangerous team, and this is probably going to be one of the most anticipated matchups in this MAC tournament. And on Friday, March 10th, you got the semifinals from 5 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. And on Saturday, March 11th, you got the championship at 7:30. We now go to the WAC tournament. And on Tuesday, the tournament will start with California Baptist going up against Abilene Christian. This is their first full year of participation in D1 for the Lancers. The last time they made it to the Division II tournament was their final year in Division II, which was 2018. And then you got Abilene Christian looking to get in for the second time in 3 years. They were a member of the Southland Conference back then. And that game will tip off at noon Pacific time. And then you got Grand Canyon going up against Tennessee. It's Texas, Arlington. Grand Canyon will look to go back to the tournament for the second time in 3 years. And Texas, Arlington will go for their first tournament appearance since 2008. That game will tip off at 2 o'clock Pacific time. And then you got Tarleton, which is still in their 3rd year, their transition period. And they will go up against Texas, Rio Grande Valley. I don't know why I keep saying Tennessee. And they've never made it to the NCAA tournament, but they have made it to the Division II tournament, but it's been a while. It was 1968 the last time they made it in to a Division II tournament. That game will tip off at 6 o'clock. And then Stephen F. Austin, who last made tournaments in 2018, but that has since gotten vacated. They will go up against Utah Tech, which is still in their third year of transition as well. And that game will tip off at 8 o'clock Pacific time. We now reach the quarterfinals. On Thursday, March 9th, the winner of California Baptist, Abilene Christian, will go up against Sam Houston, looking for their first tournament since 2010. That game will tip off at noon Pacific time once again. And then the winner of Grand Canyon, Texas Arlington, will go up against Seattle, looking for their first tournament appearance since 1969. And that game will tip off at 2 o'clock. And then Tarleton or Rio Grande Valley will go up against Utah Valley, who should have been the number 1 seed this year, but it's the WAC. They have some very complicated rules over there in that conference. They've never made it to an NCAA tournament. Maybe this could be the year. Tip-off is at 6 o'clock. And then Stephen F. Austin or Utah Tech will go up against Southern Utah, and the Thunderbirds looking for their first tournament appearance since 2001. Tip-off is at 8 o'clock. And on Friday, you got the semifinals at 6 o'clock and 8 o'clock. And on Saturday, March 11th, you got the championship at 8:30 Pacific time. So that's going to be a late one for sure. That's going to do it for day 8 of the March Madness charity drive. And if you excuse me, I got to write down some notes for day 9 because I got catching up to do because we got plenty of conferences that are going to end their regular season. And we got 3 championship games. We got 2 championship games being decided. So, yeah, this is going to be a rough one. But I am Red Rubber Duck One Fee. Please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe because this charity drive is going to go up until the national championship game on April 3rd. So until we meet again, I am Red Rubber Duck One. I will see you guys next time.